Bava Metzia, DAF Yud sponsored a refuah shalema for Masha Leah Bas Naomi Nechama. We begin with the Mishnah on Daf Yud Beis Amud Beis. The Mishnah brings a machlokus between Rabbi Meir and the Chachamim as to when a finder should return a loan document. Rabbi Meir holds one should not return it if a lien on property is included in the document. If not, one may return it to the creditor. The Chachamim, on the other hand, hold that the finder should not return it even without a lien, because Bezdin will collect from property even without it. The Gemara gives three explanations for Rabbi Meir's opinion. The first two explain his law not to return a document with a provision for a lien applies even where the debtor admitted he owes the money, because we are concerned that the document was predated. The borrower attempted to borrow the money in Nisan, but did not receive the loan until Tishrei. Aside from the fact that such a document is invalid, the creditor may attempt to collect property lien from before the actual loan, which is illegal. The court does not suspect this when dealing with a regular loan document. This one was lost, and therefore questions its validity. We assume that the debtor was careless when he did not receive the loan and lost it. Rav Asi adds, although a borrower is not permitted to write a loan document, not in the presence of his creditor, unless it is what we call a shtar hakna, a document that states the borrower committed his property from the time of the writing, the fact that it was lost creates a suspicion that perhaps he wrote it illegally anyway. Therefore, the first reason it cannot be returned is the possibility it was predated and the creditor will collect from lien properties illegally. Abaye is not concerned that because it was lost, it could have been written illegally. According to Abaye, even a regular predated loan document is invalid only if not signed by witnesses at the time of the writing. Even if he did not get the money on that day, his property is lien from that point on. However, this is true only if the document was conveyed to the recipient. Then it is effective retroactively to the signing of the witnesses. The reason in the Mishnah the finder may not return the loan document to the creditor, even where the debtor admits he owns the creditor the money, is because we are concerned that the creditor and debtor conspired to collect the second time from lien properties. The borrower lost the document after receiving it as a receipt that the loan was paid. He admits that he still owes the money in order to collect jointly with the creditor from non-guaranteed properties a buyer's lien to his loan. The third interpretation of Rabbi Meir is Shmuel. He is not concerned that the debtor conspired with the lender. He explains the Mishnah's law not to return it to the creditor because the debtor did not admit he owes the creditor money. Rabbi Meir, that permits returning a document that has no provision for collecting from lien property, holds such a document is not genuine and cannot even collect from non-encumbered properties. It is returned to the creditor to be used as a bottle stopper and not to the debtor, since he claimed the document of forgery. Now the Gemara explains two different ways of understanding the machlokes of Rabbi Meir and the Chachamim. Rabbi Elazar, the argument is where the borrower does not admit to the loan. As explained before, Rabbi Meir holds one cannot collect with a document that lacks a provision for a lien, even from non-encumbered properties. Therefore, the finder can return it to the creditor. The Chachamim hold such a document is no less than a milva al peh, an oral loan, with witnesses that can be collected from the borrower. Since the court is concerned for the possibility of a forged document, it cannot be returned, even without a provision of a lien. However, if the borrower admits he owes the money, it can be returned. There is no concern of a conspiracy between the creditor and borrower. Rabbi Yochanan, the argument is when the borrower admits he owes the money. Rabbi Meir holds that a document without a provision for a lien is like an oral loan with witnesses that can be collected from the borrower. The Chachamim hold that a document without a provision for a lien can be collected anyway from buyer's properties because it is assumed that a creditor insists on a lien and the borrower agrees. Therefore, even if he admits to borrowing the money, the document cannot be returned to the creditor, for they may have conspired to collect from lien properties. If the borrower did not admit to the loan, both agree it cannot be returned because it may have been forged or the borrower may have repaid the loan.